Okay, this package contains a vertical HF antenna. It will operate from 80 meters, which is about 3.5 megahertz, and all the way, 6 meters, 50 megahertz. You can also go down to 2 meters with this by removing the coil, and probably even 70 centimeters. I can't see no reason for why it wouldn't. The size of the package is about 20 inches long, and it's a square box of about 4 to 4.5 inches square. Very compact, great for emergency use. Okay, took out of the package. Generally speaking, it was designed with 80 meters to 10 meters and all the frequencies in between. If you're a CB operator, it will work even on 11 meters. This coverage is possible because of the coil. It gives you the electrical length, and the whip, which is a standard 3/8 connector, is extendable. In fact, you can install whip up to 17 feet and run it as a quarter wave for the 20 meter band. And of course, you can reduce the length of it as you go up higher in frequency. One of the advantages of something small and compact, it can be used in a home setup, mobile apartment, great for RV and tent camping when you're moving around quite a bit. And it's a fantastic unit to have set up in event communication outside the area of disaster is not available, and one can immediately, within hours, be up and running, provided you're set up for emergency use, which was a common practice for amateur radio clubs to practice an emergency routine, having all the necessary equipment, not having to depend on exterior power or other resources. In fact, it was a practice, a yearly emergency practice every year. Of course, during the older days, which I had tubes, there were tube design radios, and of course they required generators because of the high power consumption. Now with all the solid states QRP rigs, you can simply have a battery and old tube transceivers to ham bands. Then I moved up to hybrid solid states, where the finals were the only tubes. Now they're all solid state, low power consumption, makes portable antennas more inviting. Okay, I took it apart, a few components. I'll explain how they work. With vertical antennas, there is one limitation, or maybe I should put it the other way, a challenge. It's the ground plane or the counterpoise. Ground that we walk on normally is not usually the best for counterpoise or ground. There are areas where it's great and a lot of areas where it's not great. In fact, some of the stations that are set up, they would literally bury all sorts of wiring under the ground to improve the communication and range. However, that's something that's not practical, and so the most common use is having wires connected to the radios, these rods. And even that is not practical, for example, in a home or in a house, or maybe some of the yards are too small. So others have used what they call a Faraday blanket or a metal screen. I have a Faraday blanket, and I'm hoping that it'll be adequate. It doesn't take up much space, and it's easy to fold away. Metal screens, you gotta roll up, they're bulky, they're sharp. Well, with a Faraday blanket, it's almost like a cloth. You can tablecloth. You can fold it away, put it away. It makes it more compact. Of course, another aspect to improve communication, yes, you can tune this. You have fantastic SWR reading, but for the X, the higher the better, and the more open the area, you will have better long distance communication. This coil is designed for about 100 watts. If you're going to use higher watts, they do have an upgraded model where it can handle the heat of more power. But like the ICOM 705, 10 watts, it's great. It works better. I will have a review on the 705 later on. These legs, they're support legs, and they also attach the wires to this unit. Okay. They do have longer ones if you want, and it gives you more stability. But the larger leg supports take more space. And another option is to use a tri-mag mount. Basically 3 large magnets, and a cookie sheet and perhaps a screen and a Faraday would be an option. Okay, we're going to put this together, and at another video we'll probably do a tune indoor and check for bandwidth for each of the band. Of course, the lower the frequencies, like 80 meters, 3.5, the bandwidth's going to be narrow, while the higher frequencies, like 10 meters, which is around 28 megahertz, the bandwidth will be wider and with lower SWR. Some of the pros and cons. There we go. And I guess the cat wants to inspect this new item. The only thing I have not mounted on is the wiring, which we call the ground plane or counterpoise. That's this here. It would be connected where those rods are, the supports. However, I'm going to use a Faraday blanket for testing. And standard 3/8 tube. It's adjustable all the way up, and I can lower this. There we go. Very compact. There are many models, similar design out there. I'm not necessarily promoting any particular model, but this one seems to be very popular, and I thought I'd give it a try. What's nice with this, I can easily replace the whip with a 17-foot whip and bypass the coil completely when I want to run on 20 meters and less. And of course, the coil will give me the opportunity to operate at 40 meters and 80 meters. There you go. It took me less than a minute to take apart, so it's very quick and easy. And this is an intro to this particular unit. And later on, when I am ready, I'll test it and see how well it works. Have a nice day.